जब तक है संसार अमर है राम भरत का प्यार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार। सुना भरत ने हुआ राम को जैसे ही वनवास, दौड़े दौड़े पहुँच गए वो वन में राम के पास। राम के बदले न था भरत को राजपाट स्वीकार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Together we'll chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verses 1 to 10.
अर्जुन उवाच प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव क्षेत्रं क्षेत्रज्ञमेव च एतद्वेदितुमिच्छामि ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च केशव। श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं शरीरं कौन्तेय क्षेत्रमित्यभिधीयते एतद्यो वेत्ति तं प्राहुः क्षेत्रज्ञ इति तद्विदः। क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत। क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोर्ज्ञानं यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम तत्क्षेत्रं यच्च यादृक् च यद्विकारि यतश्च यत् स च यो यत्प्रभावश्च तत्समासेन मे शृणु। ऋषिभिर्बहुधा गीतम् छन्दोभिर्विविधैः पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चितैः महाभूतान्यहङ्कारः बुद्धिरव्यक्तमेव च इन्द्रियाणि दशैकं च पञ्चचेन्द्रियगोचराः इच्छा द्वेषः सुखं दुःखं सङ्घातश्चेतना धृतिः एतत् क्षेत्रं समासेन सविकारमुदाहृतम् अमानित्वमदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिराजवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यमात्मविनिग्रहः इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधिः दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम् असक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिषु नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम् इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु
You're muted.
Thank you. What does it mean to have knowledge? It's a very interesting question. And Krishna's answer to that question is that you must have these qualities. You may agree with him or disagree with him. You do whatever you want. But here is a man of perfection. Here is a person of realization. Here is Avatar Purusha himself. Someone who has complete knowledge telling us what is knowledge. And he defines it as having these qualities. Amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, shanti, arjavam. Having humility means not thinking of yourself, not giving things that have no importance. Adambhitvam, no pretentiousness. That dependence on the good opinion of your people. The less self-assessment, the more that dependence. If you don't know yourself, where's the question of knowledge? You don't know yourself. What on earth are you going to know? Ahimsa. Ahimsa is the attitude of non-violence. You do not wish harm to anyone. You may be a vegetarian. You may be a vegan. You may be a Jain. You may be a Falahari. Whatever you feel is the least amount of damage you can do in terms of eating. Remember, it is not just eating. It is more the wishing of the welfare of all beings. You genuinely and truly want that everyone do well, do better, improve, grow, find happiness, find success. That's what you want. And that's how Oliver Goldsmith defines it, remember? Remember those words? Who remembers? For other aims, his heart had learned to prize, more skilled to raise the wretched than to rise. Not interested in himself going on. More skilled to raise the wretched. To be able to have this benefit for all. Every time you've enjoyed something good, have you thought that, how nice if everybody could enjoy this? So ahimsa is not just I don't eat meat. Many people turn it down to I don't eat meat. You don't eat meat, but everybody you have hurt and insulted, and they are all crying because of you. Then what is the use of I don't eat meat? So the wish that nobody has to face any harm. Sarva Sukhi Bhavantu. Everybody be happy. Sarvam Niramaya. Everybody without disease or any such thing. Mahesh. Did Arjuna have no wish to do harm when he waged the war? He did kill soldiers. I do not know what Arjuna wished, but Krishna certainly did not wish harm to anyone. He wished their welfare. When you wish everybody's welfare, sometimes it happens that you have to sacrifice something. And that sacrifice had to be made. If there is a terrorist who's shooting all your people, will you not kill him on the grounds like, I don't want to do the terrorist harm? Will you say that? Because by avoiding killing the terrorist, you are getting so many innocent people killed. If you have a tumor in your body, a cancerous growth in your body, will you say, I don't want to do harm to the cancer and kill the body? That makes no sense. Therefore, you may have to wage a war. You may have to fight. You may have to take strict action, which may result in people being dead. But it's still ahimsa because you have wished everyone's welfare. So I don't know what Arjuna's view is. I doubt whether he would have wanted to harm anyone either, but that was his job. And when he tried to turn away from it, Krishna exhorted him to go fight this righteous battle. So ahimsa is not about not fighting. Ahimsa is about wishing the welfare of people. In some cases, you may have to do some harm, but that harm that you have done is only for the welfare of the body politic. For instance, a mother may slap her child when he is misbehaving. She has done himsa, but the reason she has done it is because she loves the child dearly and wants the child to come out well. So please understand ahimsa as something more than I don't kill, I don't eat non-veg. Can't restrict this magnificent idea to this very, what should I say, rather limited understanding. Then shanti. Shanti is forgiveness. Forgiveness is recognizing that every being functions according to his vasanas helplessly. Helplessly do people do what they do. Recognize it. It's got nothing to do with us. We get angry, we get irritated with people. We feel they have a motive. They want to hurt us. They are insulting me. We put ahimsa up. Soldier on the front, doctor performing surgery. Yes, we covered those points. We feel that everybody's behavior is reflecting on me in some manner. He was rude to me. Why can't we say he is a rude person? He made me late. He is a non-punctual person. I bring myself into the matter in some way because everything is about me and my eyes. Everything is about me. It's really a very, very funny thing that we say everything we somehow relate to ourselves. Anything that happens. Suppose the C-Link Nava Sheva opened, right? So we say, see, because God wanted to make the university more famous, he's opened Nava Sheva. We believe it, right? everything we relate back to ourselves, whether it has anything to do with me or it doesn't have anything to do with me. I will relate it to myself. Nothing to do with me. If my wife, my husband, my child, my neighbor, my dog, the weather, they all are in a certain way and doesn't necessarily have anything to do with me at all. Each being functions according to his own vasanas. If I can recognize that, I am free of the, what should I say, of its effects on me. No, you say no, but even if he's rude to everybody, he was rude to me and that hurts me. Then you control yourself, no? You can't control yourself and you tell him to control himself. That's not fair. Control yourself. Because he was rude to me means I can control my hurt. He is rude, I cannot control because that's who he is. Can I love him in spite of him being rude? You know, yesterday I went to buy something and it was looking a bit confused. So I didn't quite get what was happening. So I went, there were like 4 or 5 counters where you could make payment. And there was one lady making a payment. There was a man standing somewhere behind her who I just standing very quietly, which I assume was her poor husband who had to put up with all her shopping. And then I'm looking like, where am I supposed to go? I went and stood behind her, and I thought, oh, the other guys are, there's no one there. Maybe I should go there. So I was doing this, trying to figure out where to go. And so I gave one of those guys a dirty look, and then he opened his counter and he started. And I realized that man standing behind that lady was not her husband. He was the next customer there who was trying to do his own purchase. But I had gone and stood behind that lady, thinking that's the line. And he didn't say anything. Then, of course, I moved out trying to find a quicker way of doing this because shopping was not getting over. But the interesting thing is, I broke the line. I stood in front of him. I then went to other places to see how if I can get this done quicker. Then I came back over there. In all that time, that man said nothing. He let me come and stand. He let me go, do whatever I want, come back, let me stand. Just think of this. In his perspective, I am breaking the queue. Should we have been standing over there, we'd have tapped him behind and said, what are you doing? Don't you see there's a queue? The guy had no reaction to somebody coming in front of him, leaving, going away, coming back. Amazing, no? What a beautiful quality of Shanti. Nothing, no reaction. I realized only after I had paid. I got the other guy to open his counter. I did all that because no time to stand over there. So I got the other guy. I did all of that. That guy did absolutely nothing. He patiently waited his turn till that lady finished her shopping. It was too much for my patience, but he patiently stood over there and let her change her mind, buy the stuff, whole story. He allowed people to come in front of him in the queue. This is the quality of Shanti. I wanted to go touch his feet. What a man he must be, no? Right. Just nothing. No reaction. Absolutely no reaction. No irritation. No happiness also that I've left. No thinking, I'm standing here for why are you opening the counter for that lady? Nothing, no reaction. That is Shanti. I was coming again to stand in front of him. He took one step back and he let me stand. Nothing. This quality of seeing that it has got nothing in the world to do with me. Somebody is doing something on their own. They don't know I exist. And they are doing their own stuff. What a beautiful example. I wish I could have filmed it. You would have seen how people behave. And it's a large part of our culture also. Even this thing about please adjust. Have you know, in India, we have this concept of please adjust. I don't think anybody outside India will understand please adjust. There'll be 4 people sitting on a bench meant for 3 people. The 4th person will come and say, please adjust. And those 3 will adjust also. Since, we were trained, everybody was trained in this country for it. The amount of stuff we put up with without batting an eyelid is amazing. Beautiful quality, no longer there, unfortunately. In the cities, you see people get so angry with everything. Everybody has a view. Everybody wants to say something. Everybody wants to bash up somebody or the other. And if they don't go and bash them up, then in the drawing room, they'll be shouting at each other and saying how bad everybody else is outside. Shanti, the ability to understand that every being functions by his nature. Understand and find just peace. It's not Shanti, by the way, Kshanti. I hope you can hear that difference. Shanti with a K, not beginning with an S, but beginning with a K. Bharat, it's a dual understanding. Nature will function, non-personalization. I don't know, Bharat, if you can say it's a dual understanding. It's a single understanding. Nature will function. That's it. Once you understand that, that is non-personalization. You understand that record has those etchings. It has nothing to do with me. So non-personalization is more an is a explanation rather than a second point. It's the same point. I understand that this has got nothing to do with me. It is that person and his vasana. If I am getting irritated, now that irritation has got something to do with me. So I can deal with my irritation. Okay. So, Shanti. Seeing the world for what it is, not what I would like it to be. All the time, everybody should live according to my standards. That is my belief. I will judge what's the right way for everybody to live. Now, see that man who was standing in that queue and wasn't sure what this person is doing. He doesn't know what's going on in my life, right? He doesn't know why I'm in the hurry, why I need to get back soon. He doesn't know anything of it. He can take it personally as she's being very rude to me. But the fact is, I don't even know he exists. I mean, I didn't realize he exists until I appreciated his quality of one word. If you get it right, that means you're understanding this topic. His quality of
renounced.
What are we discussing?
Forgiveness.
Nobody is listening. Introduction, nobody listens. They think, अच्छा कुछ बोलते हैं अभी class अभी शुरू होनी है. Quality of what are we studying?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Very good, Bharat. This is his knowledge. He is a knowledgeable person standing there in front of me. Otherwise, why do I want to touch his feet? He is a knowledgeable person. If you catch hold of him and say you're a knowledgeable person, he'll probably be embarrassed because he'll say, no, I haven't studied anything. No, he's the knowledgeable person. So remember, these are qualities of knowledge. When you have that, I'll come to you, Mamita. Mahesh, can it also be tamas disguised as sattva? in this case, what would be the tamas?
He didn't react, so I just thought maybe he could just be tamasic.
No, I mean, he would have to have extremely high tamas to not react, because he is also shopping, right? He's also bought something. He also, unless he really doesn't want to go home and he's happy to have people waste his time there, in which case he will be rajasic. But tamas in this situation, I don't know. I mean, tamas or rajas or sattva is all like, what is the person thinking? As far as I could tell from, he had no reaction to me, just wondering. I thought he was just like one of those normal husbands, when the wife goes shopping, then they just stand with that helpless look, like this is just something they have to put up with. So I thought he was just one in that category, waiting patiently for his wife to finish. But he was like, I'm trying to think of what, it's possible he was tamasic, but I'm just trying to think of what element in him could be give him at that time and assume tamas. Okay, Mamita.
In this particular example, the person in front allowed you, but the people behind him did not protest.
No, he was the only one.
Right, but if there were people behind him,
They would
then
have.
perhaps it would not have been right of him to allow someone to break the queue.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on so many things, but yeah, sometimes you're right in the opposite way, that people are very generous in telling people, okay, come in front. And what about asking the people in behind whether? So that's the other side of it. But here there was no one. He was just as patiently as he was dealing with that lady, just finishing her, she was buying the end stuff, so they were all packing it and cutting off those things, whatever, like a whole thing was going on over there. As patiently as he was dealing with that, as equally patiently was dealing with me who had one thing to get. And I was trying to finish this and get on with my life.
Yeah.
But there was no one else. It was just him. That's why I didn't realize that he was standing in the queue. I thought he was just standing behind. I mean, standing at some distance behind her, waiting for her to finish.
Yeah, because this reminded me of a similar incident when I allowed someone come in front without realizing that there was a long queue behind me. And then later on, I felt I shouldn't have, because they did feel very upset about it.
Yeah.
So that was tamasic of me.
Yeah, that was
Indifferent. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was yes. We have been generous with the rights of others.
Yes.
That's what very often people do in life. They take other people's thing. In Marathi, they're saying, I forgot what that saying is. So anyone remembers what that saying is? That something cha jiva or something. Anyone remembers?
काळजीच्या जीवावर बायजूदार.
दुसऱ्यांच्या जीवावर दुसऱ्यांच्या
नाही ताईजीच्या जीवावर बायजी उदार. Means you are very generous with other people. In this case, you didn't recognize it as another person's thing. So in that element of not recognizing was tamas. So not you, I mean, many people do that in front of us in the queues also. In the airport, you see silly things like people will try to break the queue, say, I have a flight to catch. I have a flight. What do you think we are doing over here, I mean, the rest of us have not come to watch a movie here. What do you mean I have a flight to catch? So, yeah. So we impinge on the rights of others sometimes without realizing it. Shilpa. Sometimes you're not getting in a rush, you are not getting in rush, and you see another person in rush and you let them go. Yeah, as long as it is yours to give, that's a good thing. I mean, it's the fact that you're okay with people having to deal with it, but sometimes people take advantage also of this kind of thing, like typical is the airport. You leave late and then you expect other people to put up with the fact that you have left late. Why don't you organize yourself? Sardev must be a retired man. Sardev, I think even before retirement, you must have been like that. Retired man, no. Many retired people get most irritated, more than normal people also. So never mind analyzing him. Let us understand about us. How much are we, what kind of flexibility do we have to put up with the faults of others? How much flexibility can we have? Is a question we have to ask ourselves. Someone does something wrong. What does it take for me to be negative towards that person? What does it take? I'm assuming the other person is wrong. So the qualities of ahimsa and shanti is that in your heart you actually never feel negative about anything. Means you don't wish harm on anyone. You and your action may of course be strict because the strict action is required. Otherwise, every teacher would be really the most himsak person. The job of the teacher is to keep pulling us up all the time. Most highest himsa by the teacher. But every every step, every word, everything, even if you have taken strict action, has always been for the welfare, never because of your own irritation. Like a mother and a child, whatever she does for the child, she does for the child. It's not because of her irritation. And those mothers who do it out of their irritation, they lose the tag of being mothers. There are mothers like that, unfortunately. So, Shanti. Taking a deep breath and saying, this has got nothing to do with me. Arjun. What has something to do with me is my commitment. What have I decided to be, to live by? What is my reading of the truth? So now when the journal comes, you will see how other people have taken this knowledge and spoken about the knowledge. And I hope you will also do that. You know that Akhila is handling the journal. So if you all have any articles, you have thought about some aspect of this knowledge, then please send it to Akhila so that she can put it in the next volume, next what edition, whatever it is. Next time it comes out. This time
Next issue.
Next issue, thank you. So that it comes out in the next issue. But this is our way of all of us. Please read the journal, everybody there, and react to the journal. It's just another avenue that we have to reflect upon these ideas. And then if you have, having reflected, if you have something to say, write it down and send it back so that the next issue can have it. But this is all practice of the qualities of reflection, because reflection is your key to Arjavan. The more you think about something, the more you understand what it really means, and the truth unfolds to us. And as that truth unfolds to us, we live according to that truth. It is not something that's in the book. You know, when I joined Academy, Swamiji would always be saying, don't say Vedanta says. Which habit of his even now I have picked up, I think. Don't say Vedanta says. I mean, sometimes you have to say it like we're writing a book or something. You have to say it because you have to be suggestive. But try not to say that so-and-so says or such and such says. Either it is so or it is not so. And you must decide for yourself whether it is so or it is not so. It's a common thing that many intellectuals have. So-and-so says this and so-and-so says that. Why do you say so-and-so says it and so-and-so says it? Why not identify which of the two it is. That is why we have that advanced class. I don't know if you all know that there is an advanced class. And in the advanced class, people are all supposed to do that together. And of course, I go to that class occasionally whenever they call me, but they manage largely themselves. If you feel you are ready for an advanced class, you can get in touch with Bharat. And I don't know what is the criteria for you to enter the advanced class, but you could also attempt. Basically, that class is so that everybody can reflect together, think afresh together on the basis of eternal truths. Half of our study is getting the eternal truth right. And half of our study is the conversion of the eternal truth into my life. So when we do this, so we try to have like various ways by which we can do that. We have the journal, we have the advanced class, we do group discussions in this class, you do your morning study, all of these put together. We have residential programs, all of this put together is so that you first understand the eternal truth and second, apply the eternal truth to your life. When we do that, that is called archa. It's not based on simply I like it and I don't like it and I think so and I don't think so. It's not simply that. It is my personality, or let's say this individuality, reacting with the eternal truths. This combination is what creates arjuna, is what creates that, what in English is called uprightness. Uprightness doesn't sound so nice. Arjuna sounds much nicer, at least to our Indian ears. So that's the quality where you are what you are as a complete personality. Not one day you think Vedanta is wonderful, one day you think Vedanta is too theoretical. Not like that. It's all integrated into one. And when your mind and intellect and your values are all integrated into one, the actions that you perform become upright. That's where we have to get, all of us. It's our own personal commitment. It's not just paying it lip service, but that's the person I wish to be. That's the person I'm going to be. Acharyopasana, the service of the preceptor. Another very important aspect of our spiritual life is service back to the person from whom we have learned. Mahesh, does an upright person necessarily have to have high values? Yes. Under what condition are you thinking he will not have high values?
No, what I meant was that maybe he's selfish, but he has, I mean, he's upright in his sort of that I'll do something only if I get benefit out of it. So he's very sure about that. So he is true to himself in that sense, but he does not have high values maybe he's an ordinary person, but he may be selfish. He may not, sort of.
Yeah. So just consider carefully what you're saying. All the aspects of him which you feel are worthy of respect, all of those are the higher values, no? The part where he is being upright are his higher values. That he's not hypocritical, that he is himself. All these are his values and he's living up to them.
Okay. So he's true to himself, but it need not be that he is unselfish or, okay.
Yeah, I mean, true to yourself, all these qualities are all interlinked. It is very difficult to be an entirely selfish person true to yourself. How? The way your personality gets integrated is only when you infuse values into it. Otherwise, your personality will not be integrated. The mind will say one thing, intellect will say something, and circumstances will make you a third person. How do you become an integrated person? So values are kind of the glue that holds the personality together. Those whose values fall, that glue disintegrates. So basically, as long as you do what you think is right, you are living up to a quality of non-hypocrisy. And so that's good. And also upright, like every other quality, is also relative, right? Some people are more upright, less upright, all that thing. So what is your point of comparison? It's like we were discussing about ethics. I think I was talking to you only. We were talking about how a person
Yes.
who is willing to give bribes, but for a higher cause, and get the job done, versus a person not willing to give a bribe, and will the job stop? So, it all becomes complex. So you are the one who made your wonderful statement. What is that statement you made? That as you grow older, it ceases to be black and white. You said that, right?
Just from a Bond movie.
Bond movie, okay. All right. So see, you're learning from Bond movies also. Very good. You see, this is that what Ramatirtha says. Vedanta brings you a religion that's found in the trees, that's whispered in the brooks. It's not Vedanta, is like everywhere. In a Bond movie, you will find Vedanta. Everywhere, the truth makes itself known for those who wish to see the truth. So only thing is, as you mature with the knowledge, you begin to see that there are various permutations and combinations. And that is the difference between the Shruti and the Smriti. The eternal principles are always true for all people at all times. But how they are going to be interpreted in a certain scenario, that is up to the individual to decide. And when he or she takes that call on the basis of those eternal principles, then we have an upright person. That is the quality of, what is the quality of?
Arjavam.
Mhm.
Jnani.
That's the quality of knowledge. That knowledge reacting with your personality. That means you have knowledge, that the knowledge is not separate and you are separate, but it has become one. There is no difference between you and the knowledge anymore. That is the quality of knowledge. Yes, Mr. Chalwani, you had something?
Madam, a few minutes back, you were saying that Swamiji was saying, don't refer to Vedanta, you start believing and then talk about it. That's very fair.
Not believing.
Not
Verify
believe,
which.
don't refer to it as Vedanta. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what happens is sometimes there are not the part of the Vedanta who have been reading Vedanta, and you want to try to convert them to come into this circle to benefit from what we have benefited. Right? If I tell them I believe it may not have the value, if I was say Vedanta says that, then it carries a little more. Initially, it's like a bait being given to them, whether they bite or don't. So if I say the bait may now very lighter, when you say Vedanta says that, maybe the bait might have some weight and he may get into the circle. So there I think we can use that bait.
Well, it's not a rule, don't do it or do it. It's the concept. I need not ever say whether I believe or Vedanta believes or anything. I can just say, in fact, if you wish to really bring people into Vedanta, just talk to them like normal human beings. Not Vedanta says, I says, so and so said, just normal. In this, just like a conversation.
Oh, madam,
And
very difficult wall to break. Very difficult word all to break. It's not easy, ma'am. I've tried it and failed and failed and failed and failed. In
Don't you
high,
tell-
all IQ levels. High
do
IQ
you
levels. So IQ levels high means they have the IQ but don't have the wanting to get into the thing, make sacrifices. They want the immediate gratification. So they are not prepared. So sometimes you have to drop in a few words here and there. So I thought,
Anyway, about telling me about converting people to Vedanta, don't you think you're telling the wrong person?
no, I'm asking for guidance, ma'am.
I wish I knew. If I knew, there would be many more people in this class. Nobody knows. There is no way. Rama asked Vashishta the same question. He's saying, how is it the same thing you're telling everybody? Some people will get interested, some people will not. So why? What can we do now? He says, seeds are thrown. Some fall on rocky grounds, some fall on fertile grounds.
Old vasanas maybe.
No, I mean, if there's no inherent interest, there is nothing you can say or do. You can take a horse to water, you can't make it drink. So
Fine, ma'am.
slowly, our own behavior. I'm telling you, people in my family, after I've been in Vedanta for 34 years, that means last year, my own family, my own flesh and blood asked me, you know, you do this thing. What is that thing, Vedanta? No, what is that Vedanta thing you do? Just tell me something about it. After 34 years, until then, you must appreciate I have said nothing. So there's no point. You know, a person is not. Even after 6 months after that, I was asked, I said whatever Vedanta. And then, I mean, not a long lecture, not like Om Sarna Bhavatu, we didn't start, but broadly what. Then 6 months later, after that conversation, I was told, that day you told me some nice things about this Vedanta. What was that? I forgot. Can you tell me again? And then next time you record and keep asking me again and again. Now.
Arjuna also asked Krishna the same question at the end.
Yes, because there is no.
6 months after the war.
So there's no. When there is no interest, there's no retention.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, so where were we now? We were at Acharyopasana, the service of the preceptor. This concept of gratitude is a very important part of education. Because if we do not have gratitude towards where we have got it from, then the opposite of that is mental agitations. And mental agitations come from what? From distrust, from questioning, challenging, not questioning, challenging, not willing to take in. Because it's not easy, right? It's not easy for the teacher to tell us or for us to understand that we are idiots. I mean, it's difficult. How do you tell a person you're a complete idiot? It's difficult. For the person also to hear, I am a complete idiot, that is also difficult. So it's not an easy transaction. And yet, until we identify all the areas where we are going wrong, how are we going to go beyond that? So, unless there is gratitude for that, there is no way. You're going to get fed up and you're going to say, I've had it, and these people are just saying bad things about us. So, when you have gratitude, when you have love, when you have identification with the teacher, then you're more likely to take in the knowledge because the mind is calm. So that has to come through as service. Because if it is there, it will, right? That's a natural outcome. So it makes the mind calm and receptive to the knowledge. And once that happens, that is the real upasana. Acharya tells you how to behave. Means, charati means to walk, to behave. Achar is behavior. So the acharya is one who teaches you right behavior. Upasana means upa-asana. Upa-asana means sitting next to the teacher. Now, it can be seen in two ways, that you have to be physically in proximity with the teacher, that is part of the sadhana. And secondly, and more importantly, is when you sit next to a person, you see what the person sees. So Acharya Upasana has to end up in having the same perception as the teacher. It's not the same information. Because information everybody can get. That's, you don't need an acharya. You go to Google, Google will give you information. In fact, now we have created a VED. We meaning volunteers have created a VED bot. You know about our VED bot? You can go to Ved bot, it's called. So you go to our website, you ask any question on Vedanta, and the bot will answer your question. Interesting, okay? You all can try it and see whether you all get good answers. So you don't need a teacher. The bot will do it for you. But the question is, did you develop the perception of the teacher? Because Upasana has to lead to Upa-asana, sitting near. That means you're seeing the same thing. If you were sitting near me, or near Aditi, or near Momita, what will you see? Whatever they are seeing, isn't it? That is what we have to get. Not mere collection of information. Shaucham. Another quality of knowledge is cleanliness. Physical level cleanliness means your environment is kept clean. Material level means your environment is kept clean. Physical level cleanliness means your actions are unselfish. Because the dirt in our actions is selfishness. It is this dirt that creates the problem in action. At the emotional level, dirt is negative emotions, greed and anger and hate and jealousy. Negative emotions that are causing agitation and stress. All this is the dirt at our emotional level. So what is cleanliness at the emotional level? Purity of mind, good emotions, love, gratitude, charity, forgiveness, good emotions that keep our minds calm. At the intellectual level, dirt is lack of clarity, lack of organization, lack of decision making. Some people, every day they have a different view on the matter. Their views are never views, they're just impulses. At that moment, that impulse is very strong, so that is their view. At another point, some other impulse is very strong, so that is their view. So you have changing views, changing opinions. All this is dirt at the intellectual level. So what is cleanliness at the intellectual level? Is clarity. Clear, straight thinker. So every bit of it, thinking itself is so well organized. It's a pleasure to watch. At the spiritual level, the dirt is vasanas and purity is self-realization. That means zero vasanas. So, shaucham. You start externally and end up with the self. if you're not able to see external dirt, there is no way we're going to see internal. It just can't be done. Steadiness, steadfastness. None of these are qualities that we normally associate with knowledge. If you think of steadium as steadfastness, do you think of it as something a knowledgeable person has? Most knowledgeable people, one day they want to study feng shui, one day they want to study astrophysics, one day they want to study, I don't know what. Every day a different thing. Steadium. The capacity to stay with one thing. I was, I saw somewhere, Google for some reason threw this up to me, that there's this thing by Warren Buffett. And he said, what divides the successful people from the very successful people is that the very successful people say no to most things. I know so many good people, they say yes to everything. I mean, I would love to tell them this is not the way. You will get nowhere by doing this. But of course, can't say anything. But one day you're on project X, one day you're on project Y, one day you're on project Z, and then you're short of time and you're all hassled, and then you have to decide which is more important, which is less important, which for you is always a difficult thing to do. Steadium. Steadiness. You have taken up something and you will see it through to the end. Not like, I will do this also, I will do that also. Oh, how can I say no to him? Truly successful persons say no to most things. Say no. They're doing something and they're doing that thing alone. So if you want to be truly successful in the spiritual path, you will say no to most things, to most books, to most activities, to most everything. Because you're going to only Bharat. Wouldn't those be the curious kind and not knowledgeable? Yes. I mean, today's understanding of knowledgeable is that you have so much information on so many things. They're understanding you. Mahesh, Jignasa. What are you meaning by Jignasa?
Curiosity to know more. Yeah. Is that correct? Right? I mean, a Jignasu would be like that.
Yeah. I mean, depends because, in Sanskrit, unlike in English, there are not such stable meanings to words. As you have seen that he himself uses the words to mean different things at different times. And, one of the Sanskrit scholars, Sampadan Mishra, he told me that the reason it is so is because the nature of the Sanskrit language is it doesn't name objects, it names qualities. So anything having that quality can have that particular name. So therefore, the movement of the words becomes very flexible. Now, I don't know whether that is true or false, but it sounded reasonable to me because you do see the words changing. Jignasu, if you are a Jignasu for the self, then that is a quality of Jnanam. If you are a Jignasu generally, everything you want to know, then that's not a quality of Jnanam. It's not a quality of Jnanam in understanding. It's to be steady in what you're doing. How many people pick up how many things and just don't see it through to the end? And why does that happen? Is it because they are interested in it? No, they do not understand how to say no to other things. You decide what you want to take up and take that up alone. That's it. And if you're committed like that, you won't be able to take up too many things. It's simply 24 hours in the day. How much can you do? Atma Vinigraha. Atma Vinigraha means self-control. It is the opposite of Therium. So opposite means Therium says that I'm sticking to this. Self-control says I'm not moving from this. It's two sides of a coin. Right? When you have a realistic goal, that's Therium. When you say no to all the things that will not take you to your goal, that is Atma Vinigraha, self-control. The capacity to contact something as much as is required, no more, no less. So, what do we learn from these qualities is what we must get. Is that as we study the subject, we should see this grow in us. If you can answer in class, that's wonderful because you're learning the eternal values. That's great. But if you're actually learning, really learning, then this is your yardstick. Are these qualities growing? Do all self-realized persons have all 20 qualities? Yes, Mahesh, all self-realized persons have all 20 qualities. So that's it for today. As you all know that there's tremendous work going on in the creation of the university currently. If any one of you all would like to